Hi, it's Rhiannon Faith, and I wanted to share another story with you. So I was driving this evening to go pick something up, and I happened to go past this road, this particular road, and it reminded me of a time that I was there before. So I don't know about you, but being a believer, there are times where someone will sort of question or challenge, well, like, how do you even know that there's a God? And for me, I can think of countless times and demonstrations where there's no doubt in my mind, even in the slightest, that God exists and that He's here for my good and He's desiring the best of me and that my life is better when I live in obedience to Him. But there was one particular time I was driving home late at night, and it wasn't like obscenely late, but it was pretty late. And I was really tired, but I was just trying to get home. And as I was driving home from my then boyfriend, now fiance's house, schlepping all the way back across town to get to my house. We were quite far away, long distance going for a bit there. I mean, not insanely long distance, but literally on opposite ends of the valley. And so as I'm driving home and I'm feeling kind of tired and fatigued, I've driven this route a number of times, countless times in fact, but I was tired enough that I thought, I should probably put my glasses on. So my glasses were sitting on my passenger seat. I don't have to wear glasses to drive, but when I'm tired or it's nighttime, sometimes I can just focus a little bit better if I have them on. So that was the objective. So I go to reach for them, and no exaggeration, they were just sitting on the seat. And when I reached for them, which was not some weird, aggressive move, they somehow shot across the seat and flung into the door, like it made a noise, crashing into the door. I thought, that was so random. Why in the world did that just happen? So I'm continuing on this road, and if you're familiar at all with the Phoenix metro area, I was on the 202, headed west, getting ready to go on the 10 northwest. And so I'm headed that direction. As I'm driving along that stretch of the 202, I'm thinking to myself, I should probably pull over, but this is definitely not important enough that I need to pull over on the legitimate side of the road to find my glasses. And I'm not going to reach for them any further because that would just be dangerous. I'm driving, it's night, who knows who else isn't paying attention. Those were the thoughts that went through my head. So as I continued driving, I thought, well, it's fine. I'll just get off on the first exit on the 10, and that way I can find my glasses. I can just pop back up onto the freeway. So this takes a little bit longer than I had expected. I guess I was just kind of out of sorts with how far away I was from the stop. And so as I'm approaching, I'm thinking to myself, this is kind of annoying and stupid. I can't believe I have to pull over right now. But I just felt this serious urgency, and I really couldn't figure out, still was sort of stuck on why my glasses flew across the street and across the seat in this very dramatic slam into the door sort of way, and why I couldn't just find them. Like, this is not complicated. My car's not that big. So as I go to exit the freeway at Ray Road, so I'm going northwest on the 10, and I'm getting ready to exit at Ray Road. I'm almost at midpoint, about 100 yards, or I guess more than midpoint, but I'm a little more than 100 yards away from the signal. And as I'm approaching, obviously going slow, and I am admittedly trying to kind of find my glasses at this point, a car turns left to go onto the off-ramp. So they're getting ready to go into oncoming traffic. And there was not a single soul around me. And as I'm watching this happen, I'm thinking, this isn't happening. Are you kidding me right now? It's not that late. How drunk could you be? How disoriented are you that you have no idea you're getting ready to get on to the off-ramp? And so I'm blaring my horn, and then I'm trying to do it in increments to maybe catch their attention. And this guy continued to go past me, or girl, I don't know, but continued to go past me for about another 100 yards, and then finally realized, because I would not stop honking, that in fact they were getting onto the off-ramp, turned around, and then pulled off, went back around, got off at the exit, and then parked somewhere. I called I was getting ready to grab my phone to call 911, and I lost track of them as that happened. So I fully pulled off the side of the road at that point, got off at the exit, pulled around the corner, and I was so overwhelmed because I thought, oh my gosh, what could have happened if I hadn't have been there? So if you've ever, I don't know, been in the valley, so the Phoenix metro area, Arizona in general, for some reason we seem to have a really big problem with driving on the wrong side of the road, as though everybody's British and we all forgot where to go and how to do this. So oftentimes, and like seriously, tragically, there will be signs, and they've tried all of these different road sign strategies to prevent people from getting onto the off ramps and then boarding the freeway. And it happens, we go through phases, but it happens an awful lot. We even have street alert signs now. The signs on the freeway will tell you wrong way, driver ahead. I mean, it's insane the number of steps that they've taken to try and prevent this. All sorts of things, you know, the markers, the indicators, they've piloted all sorts of programs. It's just crazy the amount of money and energy that's been put into this. But honestly, if it saved a single life, you know, of course it would be totally worth it. But people die every year here because someone's gotten on the freeway on an off ramp and went into oncoming traffic. So here I was in this completely innocuous situation where I'm just driving home, and randomly, I don't always drive with my glasses on, but I felt like, you know, I need them. And then they shoot off into the door, random. And so I have to get off the freeway at an exit. I had actually never gotten off on that exit before. Funny enough, I later ended up moving to Ray Road, which was weird, off of Ray Road a couple years later. So that was sort of strange foretelling, I guess. But when I was getting out of my car then to try and find my glasses, they were all the way at the front footboard, like underneath the dash. There's no way that the gesture of me reaching my hand over caused my glasses to shoot off into the door and that high up with that level of force. And so all this to say, this was a divine appointment. This was an opportunity for me to just be obedient. Not always being stubborn obedient, which I've done a number of times, but to just get off the freeway. And I don't think there was any other way God was shaking me to do that, except for you should probably see while you're driving, and I need you to get off the freeway at this exit at this time to intervene for this person and all the people that would have had their lives affected otherwise. And I sat there kind of in my car in the gravity of that moment, so overwhelmed, like tears overwhelmed. So grateful that God gave me the opportunity to be a part of that and to get off the freeway, because honestly, seconds different. It could have just been such a different story for all those people that were behind me. Not to mention this person in this car who, for whatever reason, was getting onto the off-ramp, whether it was intentional and this shook them up enough to make a different decision, or they were just distracted, disoriented, unfamiliar with the environment. Whatever it was, it somewhat didn't matter, but I was so overwhelmed by God's movement. And I feel like there are just all these times and occasions where he makes these extravagant measures, takes these extravagant measures to demonstrate his love for us. So I don't know if that person, because of course I never had any interaction with them, if they found themselves reflecting on that moment and saying, my God, how differently could this have happened or gone down if that person hadn't alerted me? But it wasn't lost on me. So those God moments, those divine appointments where you step into someone's life and you didn't even know that you needed to, and you're just the hands and feet in a moment, in a season, those are so precious, and they really every time remind me of God's goodness, his love for us, his extravagance. And while this was a few years back, as I said, I was driving this evening with the kids and we were going to pick something up, and I happened upon that same path, and it just overwhelmed me in the same way of God's goodness, that in that moment, what he did for that other person and all the other people that would have been affected and their families that would have been affected, and that sort of ripple effect that could have occurred, just pushing me, urging me to step out, push over, even when it didn't make sense. And when I've had those moments, it does tune me a bit differently to hear, listen, observe, pay attention. So if I'm being encouraged to do something that seems odd, strange, unrelated, I act a little bit more quickly, less questioning, more obedience to say, well, God has a plan and he's put this on my heart for a reason, and so I need to take action. So somebody needed to hear that because I took that route again. And so there must have been another good reason for that. I'm sure there was. And so I hope that you will be encouraged by that, reminded of God's goodness, his extravagant love for us, the measures he'll go to connect us, to protect us, to be with us and present with us here on earth. So be encouraged, reminded of his goodness. So that was all for tonight, a little fast, but come back again and I will tell you another story.